Most people think they're training for longevity. But here's the uncomfortable truth. They're actually training for injury. And no one tells them. Not their trainer, not the guy on YouTube with the great physique, not even their doctor, until it's too late. Let me ask you something. How long does it take a 20-year-old to recover from shoulder pain? A few days? Maybe a week. Now guess what happens at 60? Weeks? Months? Sometimes it never fully heals. And by the time you're 70 or 80, one bad decision in the gym can quietly steal your independence. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. Today, I'm going to show you 3 exercises that look legitimate. Exercises most people do without thinking twice. But over decades, they slowly destroy your shoulders. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly what to do instead. Because safer alternatives exist, and they deliver the same results without wrecking your future. Stay with me, because this next part might completely change how you train. Exercise number 1, the upright row. You've seen it everywhere. Commercial gyms, CrossFit boxes, Instagram reels. It looks strong. It looks powerful. It looks smart. It's not. Here's the scary part most people don't know. When you do a traditional upright row, your hands stay narrow, your elbows shoot up high, and your shoulders internally rotate under load. You know what else puts your shoulder in that exact position? The test physical therapists use to diagnose shoulder impingement. Let that sink in for a second. You're voluntarily loading the exact position used to confirm injury, over and over and over again. At 45 or 50, you feel fine. At 60, things feel tight. At 70, reaching overhead hurts. At 80, brushing your hair becomes uncomfortable. And no, it didn't happen overnight. It happened from tiny stresses, piling up for decades. But here's the part nobody tells you. You don't even need this exercise. A high pull does everything the upright row does. Same traps, same delts, same power. But here's the difference. Your elbows stay lower than your wrists. Your shoulders stay externally rotated. And the impingement risk? Gone. Same results. Zero reason to choose the dangerous version. So why do people still do it? Because no one ever explained the cost. And the next exercise might shock you even more. Exercise number 2. Dumbbell bench flies. Here's a wild fact. Arnold Schwarzenegger tore his pec doing this exercise. Think about that. Elite genetics, elite recovery, world-class medical care, and he still got hurt. So let me ask you, what makes your 65-year-old shoulder more resilient than Arnold's? Bench flies place your shoulder in extreme stretch, with maximum load and zero margin for error. One rep too deep, one moment of fatigue, and the anterior shoulder capsule takes the hit. But guess what? You don't need them either. Floor flies give you the same chest activation, the same stretch, without the danger. The floor becomes your built-in safety net. You physically can't overextend. And believe it or not, you can often go heavier because the bottom position is protected. Machine flies work too. So do dumbbell presses. Same chest growth, same stimulus, way less joint risk. And this brings us to a simple rule. If I can get equal results with less risk, why would I choose the risky version? Now wait until you hear this next one. Exercise number 3. Cuban presses. This one scares shoulder specialists. Why? Because it combines internal rotation with overhead pressing under fatigue. That's a nightmare combination. Elite athletes sometimes get away with it, but not because it's safe. They get away with it because they're exceptional compensators. And here's the mistake most people make. They copy how elites train, without realizing their success happens despite poor mechanics, not because of them. You are not built to compensate like a professional athlete. And your 70-year-old shoulders definitely aren't. At that age, you don't need experimental angles. You don't need fancy movements. You need shoulders that move well, through pain-free ranges, for the rest of your life. A standard dumbbell overhead press does exactly that. Natural movement path, freedom for your joints, same strength gains, same muscle development, without the rotational stress that quietly turns into chronic pain. And here's what all three of these exercises have in common. They don't cause instant injury. They cause cumulative damage. And that's what makes them dangerous. At 50, you feel fine. At 60, you feel stiff. At 70, you feel limited. At 80, you feel trapped in your own body. This isn't about aesthetics anymore. It's not about lifting the most weight. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about independence. Playing with your grandchildren, reaching overhead without pain, throwing a ball, living without constant discomfort. Your body doesn't heal the way it used to. Recovery is slower. Mistakes are more expensive. When you're young, you can recover from bad decisions. When you're older, you pay interest on them. And here's the truth most people never hear. A pain-free 75-year-old lives in a completely different world than one with chronic shoulder pain. That difference isn't luck. It isn't genetics. It's the exercises you choose today. The upright row, the bench fly, the Cuban press. They're not building longevity. They're blocking it. Replace them. Train smarter. Protect your joints. Because one day, your future self will either thank you or curse you. And trust me, that decision is being made right now.